guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something that I actually should have done a while ago, especially when I started doing my vlogs about living in Egypt, and I feel like this is something that will help a lot of people because I get a lot of people messaging me privately and asking me things about moving to Egypt and what they need to know. So today's video is about 10 things I think that you should know before moving to Egypt. And I'm going to try and keep them as general as possible. Remember that these are my own opinions based on my own experiences living here after 8 years and things that I wish that I had have known before moving here. I did make this list with my husband, so it's not just like me, it's us working together and how we think that I would have been happier after these 8 years if I had have known these things ahead of time. All right, number one. First thing you need to do before you move here is that you do need to be fully aware of where you're moving. And when I mean where you're moving, I don't just mean whether you're living in Alex or in Cairo or Guna. I mean, if you're moving to Cairo, there are a lot of different places with a lot of different aesthetics, and you'll live a different way depending on where you live. So, if you're not somebody who likes traffic and who likes noise and you're not really into the whole apartment thing, then you want to make that clear before you move here, before you sell everything off. And you need to be aware that if you are wanting a house, you need to know it is very expensive to have a house. And I mean like a villa. They call them villas here. To have a house where there's nobody attached to you, okay? That there is no one above you, below you, or the right or left of you, you know? Be aware it is very, very, very expensive. So, and even having an apartment in a really nice area is also very expensive as well. So you need to be aware of your finances and you need to plan ahead. Don't just think that you're going to be able to overnight suddenly be able to move and that everything will be kind of easy to do. It's not. So be aware of where it is that you want to move, and just look into things and make sure that you are going to be able to adjust. That first few months, or even like up to a year, for me it lasted a while. Like the new and the shock lasted for a while, but eventually it will wear off and you'll start missing things that you didn't realize you loved when you were living outside of Egypt. Number two, if you have children, do not wait to start looking for schools. And when I mean don't wait, I mean start a year in advance. Most schools that are quality schools are international schools, and even amongst international schools, most of them are not that great, and they're very expensive. So they have a very long waiting list. They are very selective. Do not wait. Be aware also it is very expensive. Quality education in Egypt is very, very expensive. My daughter, for first grade, we paid over 100,000 Egyptian pounds for her education. So be aware that it is not cheap. And if you are coming from the West, you will not be putting your child in a government school. You just won't. I'm not going to get into that any further because I don't feel that I know enough about it, but I know that my child would not be able to handle going to school in a government school. Number three, take Arabic courses. It's once you get here. So I was in the first year living here. No, sorry, second year, because I had my daughter. I had been living here for 2 years, and we were at a dinner party with a lot of people, and everybody's sitting around and they're having a good time and they're laughing. And I was sick of not being able to enjoy that. I was sick of not having an idea of what was going on in the conversation. And we got home that night, and I looked at my husband and I said, right now, I need to find a course. I need to find somebody to help me right now. And I found this center called youre, and they teach local Egyptian Arabic called Amaya, local Amaya. And I took that for about a year, and it really helped me. And my teacher got me up to the point where I was able to start learning on my own and building my vocabulary on my own without help from anybody. So once I was able to do that, I was able to enjoy myself when I went out. I was also able to get more independent. And being independent is something that is really important to me. Now, I want to tack something onto that. Once you start learning the language, you are going to start making a lot of assumptions about what you think people may be saying. And you may say, oh, they said this and they insulted me, or they said something bad about me. Don't jump to conclusions about what you think someone is saying. Make sure that you ask. If you hear somebody says something to you and you think that it's rude, ask them. Don't assume things, because you're going to spend a lot of your time upset. So don't make assumptions about what you think people are saying. Kind of just learn to let things go. And that will lead me into my next point. Sorry, I've got my list here and I'm going through it. Don't be afraid to ask for translation. If you're at a dinner party and everybody's sitting around and having conversation in Arabic, it's not rude of you to lean over and ask somebody, hey, what are they talking about? What are they talking about? It's not rude. You were invited to a dinner party. They want you there. They're not going to tell you, you know what, you're just not, we don't think that you should be a part of this conversation. In 8 years, that has never happened. Don't be afraid to ask people to, hey, what's going on in the conversation? It's your right as a human being to ask, hey, what's going on in the conversation? And if they don't want to tell you, then those aren't people you should be friends with to begin with. The next one is prepare yourself that there are going to be cultural differences that you're just not going to be able to change, and that you need to learn to be patient. Remember that you are moving to their country. They're not moving to yours. They don't have to adjust to you. You have to learn to adjust to them, because you're choosing to move here. And if you spend all of your time worrying and being frustrated about small little cultural differences, like people being late, or that there are no lines, that people don't get into lines well, or that there's traffic. If you spend all of your time and your energy worrying about these small little things that are not going to change regardless of whether you get upset or not, you're going to spend your whole time upset. Just learn to let things go. Be patient and be aware that there's probably things that you do that people don't get that might be inconvenient and annoying to them. So just keep that in mind, that nobody's perfect, no culture is perfect, and that you will eventually, things will just start to, become normal for you, and that they will bother you less and less after time. It will be annoying in the beginning, but you'll get used to it. But just don't get angry. It's not worth it. The next thing is about your immunity. In the first few years, I got food poisoning 2 or 3 times in the first 2 or 3 years. But after that, that was it. My immunity strengthened, and I have not been sick, really, really, really sick with food poisoning in about 5 years. So just note that your immunity will strengthen, and in the beginning, you're not going to be able to do things like eat off the food carts and things like that. But eventually, your stomach will strengthen, you will be able to handle things, and it will get better. Number 7. This is one, and I want to tread lightly with this. Please note that there are certain ways of dressing in different places that you go. Meaning that if I were to go to certain areas in Cairo, I wouldn't wear like a short sleeve. Like, I would make sure that I'm covering my arms. But if I were to go to a mall or go to the sporting club, I would dress like I would dress in the United States. And obviously if I'm going to the beach, it's even more. That there are different expectations of how you should dress in different places that you go. And there will be more, like if you're going to more rural areas, more conservative areas, obviously you want to be respectful as possible and perhaps be a little bit more conservative with your attire. And it's not just for being respectful for them. It's also, you're gonna feel awkward as well. So you wanna just kind of note that, and you will learn it after a while. I'm not gonna get into what specific areas you shouldn't wear short sleeves. I'm just letting you know that there will be places where you're not gonna be able to wear a t-shirt or shorts. Now I am somebody, I never wear shorts. Even when I was in the United States, I never wore shorts. So for me, that's not a big problem. But for those of you who wear shorts, I don't know. I don't see very many people wearing shorts here, or skirts, like maybe knee-length shorts, knee-length skirts maybe. But I'm not seeing short shorts here. It's just, except at the beach. That's the only places that I see them. The next one, number 8, is be prepared that you're going to see a lot of poverty, and poverty in a way that you're not used to. You're going to see people, you're going to see women sitting outside in 95-degree weather holding an infant. And you're going to see children selling lemons and mints on the side of the highway. and banging on the edge of your car. You're going to see this, and it's going to be frustrating and overwhelming to you in the beginning, and you're going to want to do as much as you can, and it may be a little bit sad in the beginning, but just do what you can. And I have a lot of Egyptians who tell me, oh, this is what they do for a living. They're professional beggars. Or that woman that's carrying that baby's not even hers. I don't like to take a chance. If I have some spare change, I give it up. Why? Especially that's always been a sore spot for me, was always the women who were holding babies. I can't help myself. I always, if I see a woman that I'm able to, I give her a little bit of money if I can. So just note that this is something that you're going to see when you get here, and it may be frustrating. Just do what you can. Number 9, as a foreigner, people are going to try and scam you. They're going to try and scam you. You're not going to know the language. You're not going to know the price of things. So the first few years, what you need to do, and I'm not talking about going to like the supermarket. I'm talking about if you're going to go and buy chandeliers or you're going to go buy furniture. You need to take someone with you who is Egyptian and speaks the language, because they're going to know things and they're going to be able to help you out. Don't go by yourself, because you're going to pay a lot more than you would if you had someone with you. And you will learn the price of things. You will start to learn the language, and then you'll be able to do things on your own. And number 10, just note that shopping here is really expensive. Clothing, makeup, shoes, electronics, very, very expensive here. So I go home every summer and I fill up 2 suitcases and I bring them back, because that's how expensive the shopping is here. Now, do I shop here? Yes, I do shop here, but not a lot. Like, maybe I really need a new pair of shoes, just one pair of shoes. I will go and buy them, but just be aware that it is really expensive here. Shopping is very expensive here. So, and I'm talking like 3 times as expensive here, because they have a lot of fees for importing things and customs and that sort of thing. And I don't know the details on that, but I just know because of these things are very, very expensive. Now, food and things like food and daily products, no, that's not expensive. But clothes and shoes, makeup, electronics, those things are very expensive. Okay, guys, I hope that this was hopeful. I hope that this was beneficial to you, and I'm going to be making other videos and getting into more specific things probably that I listed within this, talking about maybe doing your house and what you should expect. I also wanted to do a video about what it's like being married to an Egyptian man, and not like a negative thing, but like, you know, just the differences that that we've had to deal with being, you know, from different cultures. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Check out my channel for the other videos that I've done, and I'll see you next time.